Really? That's the reason?
That's the reason, obviously. And welcome to the Glacially musical podcast. It is beer, metal, and swearing. Of course, I am Nick Boom Boom Cameron, joined by my good friends, the Raging Cajun, Don William Fontaine de la Mont, Booyaka, and Keefy. I didn't even work this out.
Look out! Keefy, look
What is
out.
that? I don't even know who that is.
Dio, bitch.
Is
Look
it?
out!
Are you sure? Are they sure? Like Dio from Elf?
I mean, Dio is an elf. I think it's actually like Rainbow Dio because he is wearing like a shirt with like a pirate shirt top.
That's what he wore when I saw him in Black Sabbath, too, now that I think about it. Anyway, here's how we do. We have a greeting, beer check, vinyl check, shirt check, news of the week, shirt check, meat of the episode. This week, we are starting our new series on death metal legends, Deicide. So I am drinking the beer of Tampa Bay death metal. Anybody got a guess?
Budweiser.
Close. Busch.
Busch stand for the mountains.
I'm man the mountain. Yeah, that's me mounting the mountains. Mountain. And we got just a little bitty glass. Just a small glass.
Are you talking about mounting again?
Mounting my glasses. I had a beer spooge on my glasses earlier, so
Heard about that.
everything's up in the air now. What do you got, Don?
I am actually not rocking a beer today. I am rocking some apple juice. I've been really dehydrated lately, and Keith yells at me whenever I don't hydrate myself properly. And so I am working hard on hydrating myself better. So we got some apple juice here. We got the sugar free, of course.
Ew.
And
Alrighty,
so-
Keefy, what you got?
Guess what I have?
Thick with meth.
A liquid
Murder
death.
your first.
That's correct.
Whoa.
Liquid death, convicted melon.
Never murder your first. Cherish your first.
Well, it depends on what first you're talking about.
Cheers.
Cheers, gentlemen. Look at all the fizz. I'm
Cheers,
gonna drink out of
everybody.
the can.
Oh, by the way, like the $2 at 7-Eleven on clearance.
Too much.
It looks like a starry night.
It's incredible. I had this thing filled up with a Slurpee. I almost had a fucking sugar coma.
Careful. I said hydrate.
7
I didn't
minutes,
say
Don.
die.
7 minutes.
Ah, dude, and I
I
even
gotta
had
be honest with you. It's at the same time every week.
It is. It's like I'm always like 2 minutes ahead.
All right, vinyl check this week, and I have not gotten this into the inner mylar because I didn't have any, and I screwed up, and I bought the double. I bought the inner outer. So my vinyl check of the week is George Benson, Breezin', a little bit of jazz, which I made fun of jazz last week, but I got some jazz. Do you know why? Any guesses why I got this one, Keefy?
Because either on Broadway or the other one that he's famous for is on there.
I'm not familiar with anything he's ever done, except for there is a song on here that is very famous hold music. I think it's that one. But if you look at the top of the record, you will see that there is a red stripe. You know what that red stripe says?
No
It
idea.
says Mobile Fidelity Recordings. Mobile Fidelity Recordings. It is a MoFi pressing of the George Benson record.
What's the significance of that?
MoFi pressings are considered to be among the best pressing audiophile. They were the first American audiophile pressings ever. They started in the 70s. I've seen The Doors self-titled on a MoFi pressing going for $250. Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon is $150, etc., etc. And I just wanted one. If you look, it's not in terrible condition. I did get this for $2 at a church fair. But it actually does sound noticeably better. What you got, Don?
All right, I got a twofer here. First off, I got this beautiful, beautiful reissue of it came out in 2021 of the debut Skid Row record. And, we've talked about this a lot, right? Is that a lot of times these represses are like hit or miss, like sometimes they're like, they don't sound great. This one sounds absolutely incredible. And to be honest, I actually think it sounds better than the original did. It's got, I don't know, they did something really good with it, but it sounds great. They did the paper mylar, which I thought was very, very tasteful. And instead of doing that, like then they included the lyric sheet and everything separately, which I absolutely love when they do that. So that was my first one. And then my second one, are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? One night with you. Dude, I have never been so in love with Danzig. Like I was swooning while I was listening to this album. Like I was like laying on the floor going, but anyway, this is really fucking incredible, man. Like just really good. It's got Glenn telling the story about how the album came about. Okay, so here's the problem though. And I'm not going to say anything. I just want to see the reaction on your faces before you talk, okay? What the
Uh,
fuck is this?
aborted pink and black merge.
Like
That is
little effort
pro-choice
would have been nice.
merge.
What do you call it, Nick? Sorry, go ahead.
Pro-choice merge.
Pro-choice merge. And
Premature emergeration.
what did you
that's
have to say,
another good one.
Keefy?
I'm surprised he didn't do like gold and white, like Elvis's famous LeMay outfit from Vegas. Like,
I know,
that's
but
what
can
he
we just
loves.
say it looks like someone took spray paint to this thing? Like it doesn't
I
like
mean, I
actually.
don't mind it because it's unique, but it's definitely not what they intended. For
Okay,
sure.
okay, dude, I have ADHD. What did this do to me the minute I pulled it
Oh,
out of the
you were like,
thing?
"Ah,
I was
ah."
like, oh my God, cannot compute.
Oh no.
But the beauty of,
No,
and it looks
no
even worse if you're
disassembled on. No disassembled.
if you look at it spinning, it looks even worse. So you just don't look at it.
I have a couple that have that kind of a pattern, just not in those colors, and they
Yeah.
are disconcerting.
Is that Cleopatra Records or Nuclear Blast?
Yeah, this is Cleopatra. But
Usually they do a great job on the vinyl. It's so
oh,
strange.
but look, can you? I don't know if you can see. Like it's got. Even, it looks like even they spilled something. They
Well,
spilled
it's
it on
not
the
pressed
edges.
completely properly, right, Nick?
The pellets moved.
Okay, is that what it
And
was?
and there was no quality control.
Well, once you do it, you can't do anything about it.
You
It is what
can't
it
like.
is.
There's no
No,
moving a
And
broom around.
Glenn just looked at
no.
it and was like, all right.
I mean, you can give it a
No,
rim
I'm
job
sure
and
he
see what
didn't.
happens.
He did not look at them. I'm sure his is perfect, and
Oh,
he
I'm
did
sure.
not.
I'm
There's
sure
no.
his is.
Which is again, Cleopatra's reputation is the one thing they do well when they do have something is they do a good job on the vinyl. Weird.
I think I was just a little disappointed. But again, the album itself is so fucking good that like it didn't care. I enjoyed it. I loved that there was different takes on it. It took me 2 listens though to get past Tommy Victor. Like I was like, why is he soloing over all of this? But
Because Danzig
it
told him to.
but it ended up working. And I
Leave Tom.
loved that.
I will not allow any Tommy Victor slander on my show.
Oh,
Our show.
I fucking love Tom. You know, we've talked about that. I
Yeah,
love Tommy.
he's great.
But my first thought was like, why is he soloing all this like an electric guitar? But you
He
know
would
what?
not do anything Glenn did not direct.
It worked. It works and it's beautiful. I highly recommend it. Keefy, what you got, bud?
All right, I got a quick 3-4, and I also did not put these in the mylar. Nick, when you bought your mylar, I bet you didn't use our link to buy.
I did use the link. You besmirched me, sir.
All right, well, how'd you buy the wrong one when the link takes you exactly to the right thing?
Does it? I don't know.
It does. You didn't use the link then.
I used the link. I swear to God, I used the link. I tried to use the link. I clicked something.
You tried to use the link. All right, here's a quick 3-4. A couple months back, Bo Lueders of Harm's Way and the Hard Lore podcast died, as you know. And there was a charity shirt for him, as well as some records that were being sold by Closed Casket Activities, mostly metallic hardcore, punchy hardcore stuff. So here's the tribute shirt, kind of looks like Metallica, Bo Lueders. And the back is a play on the Metallica guy, wherever he may roam. Very heartfelt and touching. And so I got some records as part of the fundraiser for his family. Here's a Harm's Way 7-inch Otherworld and Vibes already in the mylar from the brand, not the paper mylar. I do have a bunch of outer mylar 7-inches. This is on a fun colored vinyl. So it's like a thick plastic with a sort of a, I don't know if you can make out this color thing here. Sparkly glowy sleeve.
Almost looks kind of hologramish.
It does look
Like,
hologramic. Then
yeah.
here's what do you call this merge thing?
Oops.
No, that would have been the Danzig one. No, that's oops. Danzig was like, oh fuck.
That's oops. It's spilled milk on the kiwi.
Yeah, this is officially light blue and green.
Okay,
It's
I
blue.
call it melting lime sherbet.
okay.
Mistake merge.
Easter mistake merge. Anyway,
Mistake urge.
in addition, they were having a sale on other things. So I got this Fit for an Autopsy record, great band on Nuclear Blast, kind of deathcore, metalcore, death metal band. Kind of a gatefold for no reason. There is a booklet and the one vinyl and the lyric sheet already in the mylar. This album came out on Nuclear Blast. We've never really, maybe in our next vinyl chaser, we'll talk about distribution. What do you call this merge on the Fit for an Autopsy?
That is beautiful, though.
That's Halloween in a blender.
Very good. Oh yes, candy corn blender. And then
I was thinking saltwater taffy.
I actually call that Tigger chocolate starfish.
very good. And then finally, I went to this show, as did Nick, and they didn't have the goddamn vinyl, or it was sold out for San Francisco when I went. Internal Bleeding. Settle All Scores, brand new album, great band. Oh, I was thinking Immolation. This is Internal Bleeding, another great death metal band you probably don't know about, but very apropos for this episode.
They're death and roll. They're amazing. And from New York, I believe the bass player is a lady.
Different band, but okay. And here's
I have
another,
reviewed one of their albums.
Sure, here's another fun move. Their legendary drummer Bill Tolley was a New York City firefighter who died in a fire.
Oh, yeah.
In a 5-alarm fire. But what do you call this?
That is Cannibal Corpse Splatter.
Interesting. Done.
You know what? I call that Red Hots left in the pocket of white jeans in the dryer.
I'm
Nice
sorry.
work.
Can I do a new one?
Sure.
That's A5 Wagyu Splatter.
Oh, that's not bad. Actually, it's making me hungry for steak right now.
It's making me hungry and poor.
My blood is diseased splatter. Anyway,
It's called
Ebola
positive.
is making a comeback splatter for real. Nick, news check.
The lead news of the week for me is the MAGA County Fair has all but imploded. Everyone save Vanilla Ice, Milli Vanilli apparently, and Flo Rida have dropped out. Stay tuned to this space. We'll keep you updated on this developing pointless story. What you got done?
Why didn't they get good bands? Why didn't they get anyone relevant to America?
Milli Vanilli didn't even know they were invited.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, I'm here now, so yeah, I use my music to unite, not divide. Bro, what are you even going to sing? Are you going to sing, ooh, 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 you know it's true, blame it on the rain? I mean, nobody wants to hear that. We want to hear those other German dudes do it.
Interestingly enough, there's some question legally as to whether Freedom Williams can use the name CNC Music Factory for his career. So he may be getting sued out of existence soon.
That's a thing.
It's inherently funny.
Tremendous.
Anything else, Nick?
How do you sue for
That's
nothing?
all I got.
I mean,
Like,
hockey
how do you-
finals, nothing.
No, nothing. No hockey. No nothing. No
Nick's
nothing.
not excited about the NHL finals.
Well, if you want to okay, yes. Today, as we are recording this, they are singing the national anthems at the Stanley Cup Final. And so, yeah, I am rooting for injuries and Mitch Marner.
Jesus, that's not right. It's the Golden Knights and
It's Golden Knights in Carolina. It would be funny if Mitch
Yeah.
Marner wins the Cup his first year away from Toronto.
I would like the Carolina to not win again, but at least it's not Florida. That's my happiness.
Vegas has won it more recently than Carolina has.
They have, but I just don't like Carolina, period.
I don't like it either. That's why I'm rooting
and
for
then-
injuries.
And then let's talk about the Knicks are in the NBA finals. But anyway,
Yeah,
for
go
the
me.
first, Don, any news?
I guess my big news, unfortunately, was that Dick Parry passed away, who was the legendary saxophonist heard on just about all of the great. If you heard saxophone in a Pink Floyd song, you were listening to Dick Parry, and he was incredible. And he was also known for his very slick move of wearing an alto and standard sax together at the same time. When he finished one, he flipped it and pulled the other one out. That was like poetry in motion. But he died at 83. Some great things were said about him by both Roger and Dave and Nick as well. All separate, of course, because Roger and Dave would never say nice things in the same room. But anyway, that was sad to hear. But again, great life, great long life. So if you get a chance, put Pulse on this week and listen to
Scott Page is on Pulse.
No, Dick Parry's on Pulse.
He is not.
Was he not the one that
No.
play? Didn't he play on
90s.
Oh,
Pulse is the 94.
I'm sorry.
He did play on Division Bell, but
I'm
Scott
thinking
Page
of,
played on.
I'm thinking of the Remember That Night, the Gilmore thing. He was on that.
Actually, I'm
And
sorry.
so-
Pulse is Dick Parry.
Oh, so Dick Parry was on it. I thought he was. Okay.
All right.
Because that was him on Shine On You Crazy Diamond.
I thought David's was the best memory of him because they grew up together. Like he was a few years older than David, obviously, but like David's first musical anything, Dick was there, which is incredible.
And it was actually really cool because David posted a photo of him and Dick in like their first band together.
Yeah.
And they were like little babies. But anyway, go put on Pulse. Even go put on, On an Island and listen to some incredible work by a master. So rest in peace, Dick Parry. Keefy, what do you got, man?
Not a whole lot, but I will say I am heading to Milwaukee Metalfest tomorrow. So that's why we're recording on another day. Thank you for everybody accommodating me yet again. I'm really excited to see Acid Bath for only the second time and certainly the first time in like 30 years. Macabre, who I've never seen, and a bunch of other bands I'm just going to crush. I really need a reset and a timeout. But looking forward to tracing the steps Nick traced in Milwaukee. There's also the Bobblehead Museum I'm thinking of. Brand new song today from Mastodon, their first new music in 5 years. And it's obviously a song about Brent Hines, who died last year, and Braun Dollar's mom, who died earlier this year. Brilliant song, great catchy chorus, haunting progressive rock song, and some of it kind of sounds like Opeth in their proggy stuff. So I think Don will also enjoy it. And
By the way, I actually did hear it. It's a great song.
It's great. And I think that's kind of it for me. I think that's it.
Well then, let's get evil.
Well, we got to do the shirt check.
Oh, damn it. My shirt is Cliff 'em all.
Oh, the famous London shot.
Oh, that's a great shirt.
Love this shirt. Got it at Hot Topic. Snack on that for lunch, Junior.
AC/DC, Highway to Hell, Walmart. $6.88, motherfuckers. This is how you do it.
Sure thing. And I am rocking the Waffle House Fight Club shirt. $3 from Temu. It's like one of the few things I bought from Temu that wasn't.
So, are you allowed to talk about the Waffle House Fight Club, or is the first rule just get a double smothered covered?
I think it's more of like, if you go to Waffle House, some shit's gonna happen. Some shit's
Not in the Midwest. We're pretty laid back.
Well, the first rule of Waffle House Fight Club is that you fight at the Waffle House.
I would have figured it'd be you get a double order of smothered covered, which is delicious. Now I want a smothered covered.
That's only after the fight, though.
The waffles are not that good. Let's just call it.
I don't get the waffles.
Just a delivery system for whatever other shit.
I get the hash browns smothered and covered. Eggs. It's cheese and cheese and onions.
Dude, I always get the Elvis plate. It's the double quarter cheeseburger, hash browns, and an egg. And then you die 3 hours later.
You are so close to being at a slinger, but you'll never understand.
Shitting at the bowl.
That's what happens after you eat the slinger. Yeah. You spend some time at the bowl. Now can we get evil?
Yes, we can get evil now, Nick.
Alrighty. Now, Don mentioned when we were leading up to recording today that Deicide, he had not really heard them, and he was exposed to a lot of death metal later that was far more extreme that he really didn't enjoy. And that makes a lot of sense, because if you get to death metal just a couple of years after what we're talking about now, it becomes a lot less of what it is in 1990. But let's take a look at the death metal albums that came before 1990. So let's look at the predecessors. You have, of course,
the first. My turn, or you're gonna just do my bit now?
I'm doing not the year of. I'm doing stuff that has been out already.
Okay, fine.
Do you want to do it? Okay. So you have Possessed, Death, Scream Bloody Gore, Leprosy, Morbid Angel, Ultras of Madness, Autopsy, Horrified, Pestilence, Consuming the Impulse, Bolt Thrower, In Battle There Is No Law, Obituary, Slowly We Rot, previous podcast subject, and Carcass, Symphonies of Sickness. And I'm not even sure that that Carcass one is a death metal record. But the thing about this is all these bands are pretty different. And it's interesting how the Tampa Bay scene coalesces. Thoughts, gentlemen?
You know, living in Atlanta for so long, living in Atlanta for so long, the Tampa death scene was obviously rampant in Atlanta. It was like very huge. And I feel like any other genre of music, it's all about how people or what people are going to present to you and how they're going to present it to you, And so when I started getting a lot of this death metal stuff, I could not get on board with it. There was nothing that was clicking with me because it was so far removed. But I do have to say this though, is that there was definitely something huge happening with that. And Atlanta seemed to be like the hotbed of those bands coming in. And some of them even broke big in Atlanta, before they broke big in the rest of the states. So now that I've had the chance to listen to Deicide, though, it makes me want to go back and dive in a little more.
Right on. I was going to say my exposure to death metal came in high school. I was already a big thrash metal and crossover fan and punk fan and other things, prog. And I heard Cannibal Corpse and I heard Death, Scream, Bloody Gore. And the third or fourth thing that I ever heard was this Deicide record. So, it was a lot to take in, but I was vibing with the anti-religion part. It took a while for me to come around to guttural vocals. Now I appreciate and love them, and most people use them as another instrument. I think Glenn is a person that has always taken himself very seriously as a lyricist, even if people didn't take them seriously as lyricists or musicians. So yeah, death metal is just becoming a major subgenre now. And I will just jump in and say, you asked about Carcass.
Yeah, Symphonies of Sickness. Do you think that was death metal or is that
grindcore is grindcore not death metal?
I think they're different.
I don't.
Do you think stoner and doom metal are different?
I do. They're different. They're
Absolutely
slightly different. There can be stoner doom, there's stoner rock, heavy rock, psychedelic rock, and then doom, sludge doom, death doom. There's so many,
Did they ever tag the genre? Was it Sabbath worship, or that just became kind of
that's a Rise Above Records thing.
That's what I thought.
They started making it a thing
because they had it on shirts.
But Sabbath worship, yeah, they do have it on shirts. You can still get it, and I think a lot of journalists just start referring to every band that sounds like Sabbath worship.
For better or for worse, yeah.
I've done that, and I apologize.
No, I think it's okay sometimes.
Okay.
Depends.
I do think grindcore and death metal are different genres of music. That they're cousins. They're definitely first cousins, if not brothers. But it's I think they're different. What? No, they're not cousin brothers. There's no uncle daddy or sister mommy. Okay. It's maybe a little bit of.
They're not from South Carolina, guys.
There might be. Well, they're from Florida, so there might be actually a little bit of uncle daddy.
Oh,
but.
Yeah.
Do we want to do the year in music now, or do we want to set this up a little bit and move back and then once we get to the record?
I say we do it now and then you just take over.
Sounds good to me. Let's roll.
Sounds great.
I'm going to rocket through this. We have done the year 1990 before a few times. Former podcast subject, Alice in Chains, Facelift.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. A terrible record by AC/DC, not terrible, but The Razor's Edge, kind of mid, except one song.
We're at the AC/DC just needs to release singles era of their existence
forever.
And or 4-song EPs.
36 years ago. Annihilator, Never Never Land, good record. Personal favorite of mine, Anthrax, Persistence of Time.
Their best record to date.
Anthrax so badly.
You will by the end of the series when we do them.
Anthrax series.
Benediction, Subconscious Terror, good death metal album, another British death metal. Biohazard, self-titled debut. The Black Crow, Shake Your Moneymaker, talked about a lot on here.
Mm-hmm.
Too much.
Previous podcast subject, Black Sabbath Tear, Jesus Lord.
Love that album.
It's all right.
When we talked about the box set, we didn't really do it properly.
We talked about the album.
We sure did.
We can do it again. We could do
John Bon Jovi's debut solo album, Blaze of Glory, the soundtrack to Young Guns 2.
Has 2 good songs on it.
It does.
I've heard one of them.
An album Nick knows that I talk about all the time, Cancer, To the Gory End, another British death metal band.
I would rather have burnt ends.
Exactly. Previous podcast subject, Cannibal Corpse, Eaten Back to Life. I'd like to see when this comes out.
Super
this comes
hot
out
cover.
August 17th.
That's a hot
Deicide
cover.
comes out.
Yeah, they do.
I don't actually have the official release date, but okay. Do you?
It is June 26th.
Okay, so Deicide predates Eaten Back to Life by Cannibal Corpse. Super interesting. Carnage, Dark Recollections. This will factor in a little later for Nick with Deicide. Cinderella, Heartbreak Station, great album.
Great fucking record.
Oh, kill me now.
The Terrible. This is the band that should have reunited to play the Trump 250. Damn Yankees, self-titled debut.
Uncle noted pedophile Uncle Teddy said he's willing to play it.
Sure he did. Yeah. He wasn't even invited. How you like that, Ted?
Maybe not say pedophile on the podcast more than once or at all. My favorite Danzig record, Danzig 2, Lucifuge, Electric Boogaloo.
Had it in my hand the other day.
You should have bought it. Death, Spiritual Healing. Great album. Also came out. When did this come out? February 16th. So this was at the beginning of the year.
And that was their second death metal record.
That's their second album. Yeah, this is... Well, I have a thing to bring up in a minute, but okay. Death Angel Act 3. I'm going to see them on Thursday play this whole album. Super
great album.
Destruction Cracked Brain. That is their 4th album. Don's Obsession recently. Bruce Dickinson, Tattooed Millionaire, his debut solo album.
Not my favorite by him, but I enjoy it. I like it.
The absolutely not good at all Dio, Lock Up the Wolves.
That is a good record.
It isn't.
Here, great tour. Terrible record.
Terrible. Don Dokken, Up From the Ashes, his debut solo album. Horrible.
Banger. Start to finish.
Christ. Finally, we get Don Dokken's Unobstructed Vision.
Dude, I fucking love that record.
I know you do.
That's like some sexy stuff on that record. Anyway, go ahead.
This album, this year, just for when Nick and I did like our death metal Mount Rushmore, half the albums came from 1990. Entombed, Left Hand Path, incredible.
Incredible.
Another one that I have and love, Ex-Hoarder, Slaughter in the Vatican, Future Cities, Maybe.
That album should be more classic than it's considered.
Agreed. Extreme, Porno Graffiti, great fucking record.
Nah.
Exodus, Impact is Imminent.
Nah.
It's an album with songs.
Future Testament.
Zetro is in.
Zetro is in. Future
now
Testament.
He's out.
May I continue? Future Testament and White Zombie drummer John Tempesta from the Bronx, New York is on that record. I Hate God, the debut album in the name of suffering. Fucking gnarly. Flotsam and Jetsam, When the Storm Comes Down. They start to slip here.
I don't know Flotsam and Jetsam nearly as well as I should.
The first 2 records are fucking unbelievable bangers. Another record that is a banger that I love and I have the reprint of, Forbidden, Twisted into Form.
I have that, and I saw them on the next tour.
Fair enough. Previous podcast subject, Gwar, Scumdogs of the Universe, arguably their best record.
Beautiful record. I wish it was mixed better.
How do you hide money from a hippie?
Put it under the soap.
Put it on deodorants. Helmet, Strap It On, debut album. Love this. Future Helmet series, maybe.
Probably.
Iron Maiden, not a good record. No Prayer for the Dying.
No.
First album with Panic Yannick.
Super great. One single.
One of Nick's top 10 records of all time. Jane's Addiction, Ritual de lo Habitual.
I don't know if that's accurate. I do love it.
That is a great record, though.
I don't know if I love it that much.
I get to do my impression of Rob Halford, Judas Priest, Painkiller.
I got that. I only recently got that, and I never heard it back in the day. Damn, that's a good record.
Am I the only one that feels like that it's better as time has gone by than it was when it came out? Because when it came out, I thought 2 songs were fantastic. Now I feel like
It's
A whole new love for that
it's
album.
maybe a 10 of 10 record.
Oh,
This
it's
record just got a repress earlier this year, and I didn't buy it because it would have been $89 imported. Extremities, Dirt, and Various Repressed Emotions by Killing Joke, live and demos with Steve Albini. King Diamond, The Eye sucks.
It does not.
It
oh my
sucks.
God,
Both
yes,
suck.
King
Pretty
Diamond.
sure I have. Pretty sure I have that. Pretty sure.
Previous podcast subject, The Eye. Previous podcast subject, King's X, Faith, Hope, and Love. Brilliant. No comment from Nick. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sorry.
Faith, Hope, and Love is beautiful, man.
If I talk, you say I talk too much. If I don't talk,
Well,
why
I
is it Nick talking?
paused where you should jump in. Previous anything that we talked about, like I think we
Okay,
had
fair
a
enough.
series
All right,
on.
then.
You should be like, oh yeah, we did that. Like I don't know.
We did do that, and I should buy that. I should buy all of those records.
I think this is the debut studio album by Richie Kotzen, Fever Dream, because I remember
Yes.
it's pretty good.
That's a great record, by the way.
Fifth album by Creator, Coma of Souls.
Don't know that one.
Crocus, Stampede, 11 albums.
I don't think
Jesus.
anybody likes them.
No, dude, hello, I'm right here.
He loves Crocus, bro.
You are on so much the pots.
But actually,
on all the pots.
no, but the thing was, I stopped liking them at Change Your Address on. I didn't get anything they did after that, though. But
The only other band I think of that way is Double Helix. I don't think anybody likes Double Helix either, but their records are everywhere.
wait, is that the same as Helix, or we have Double Helix and then
Maybe
Helix?
it's just Helix. I don't care.
I was about to say
Wait, no,
that's like,
Double Helix was a television program in St. Louis. Sorry.
I was about to say, was that like the new originals and the original?
I'm going to try to
Shit
whip
sandwich.
through these. We're only on the Ks.
Oh, sorry.
Future podcast subject, Caius, Sons of Caius EP. Future hopeful podcast series, Living Color, Time's Up, their second album. Incredible.
Definitely do a series.
Incredible.
Love them. All right, let's go. Do. Lynch Mob, Wicked Sensation, and Love Hate, Blackout in the Red Room. That's a pretty good album. Tony McAlpine, Eyes of the World, pretty good. Frank Marino, From the Hip. Nick loves this record, Master, self-titled debut. I think.
Never actually heard it.
Oh no, really? Previous podcast subject just recently, Megadeth, Rust in Peace, a 10 of 10.
I got a repeat.
Banger.
The debut EP by Monster Magnet with their recent drummer bassist that died, who was the lead vocalist at this time. Not quite yet.
Do you feel like an animal?
Yes. There's a record I love, Morbid Saint, Spectrum of Death. Great album. Speaking of death metal, Mortician, Brutally Mutilated. Horrible. Not a fan. A lot of
Could you
people
be
don't.
like peacefully mutilated? I just think it only comes in brutal.
The third studio album by Napalm Death, Harmony Corruption. Brilliant. The second album by Neurosis, The Word as Law. Fantastic. Put out on Lookout Records, the same label that gave us Green Day.
Oh, and the Donnas.
And the Donnas and Asbestos Death, which was High on Fire and Sleep's first band.
Oh, yes, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Previous podcast subject, Obituary, Cause of Death. Phenomenal.
Great record. I don't have it on vinyl. I have the.
I don't have it on vinyl either.
It's hard to come by. I have the live Infection version of it about
Didn't
3 years ago.
Yeah, I remember that. Didn't it get repressed though?
It's been repressed many times, but it gets repressed, and if you don't have like $40 to drop it that day, you've got to wait till payday is gone.
Exactly. Pantera, Cowboys from Hell. I did Domination at karaoke last night. Fucking awesome.
I got that.
That's a great
Get
record.
dominated.
The debut studio album, it was bound to happen. Paradise Lost. Lost Paradise.
Ah, and here we go. We're
Okay,
Finally.
hang on. So what you're telling
back
me?
to the beginning.
Let me see if I understand this correctly, because
Let
you know
him
I've had an impression. Maybe my impression is wrong. Are you saying Paradise Lost is not in fact eternal? There is a beginning.
There is a beginning.
Well, no, what happened was that they put out so many albums that their most recent album came out in 1990 again, and now they're
Oh, so it's like Quantum Leap, where he went back to the beginning of the string.
exactly. You know, it's like Rush on Colbert. You know, it's
Right,
like your
fair
songs are so long, you influenced yourself. You know, so
Fair enough. Poison, Flesh and Blood. I seem to remember this being played at my prom.
I love that record.
That's
I got
a
an
good
OG
record.
English. I got an OG English pressing of that
I
one.
love that album.
Excuse me. Poison, I did that. Chris Poland returned to Metalopolis, which was his solo album that came out the same day as Rust in Peace, like as a fuck you to Dave. I love
That sounds like a DMA. That sounds like a DMA record right there.
How was that, by the way, Keefy?
I feel like it was good. I had a few of the Poland CDs. He's great. The debut studio album by Primus, maybe a future podcast subject, Frizzle Fry.
Do I have it?
The second studio album by, previously mentioned just now, Prong, Beg to Differ.
Oh, absolutely.
Wait, when you say previously mentioned, did you mean like
I just
right
mentioned
then?
them like a few minutes ago.
Like
when
a
we
few
talked
minutes
about
ago.
why is Tommy Victor of Prong soloing on the Danzig record, because that's who that is. Speaking of grindcore, Pungent Stench from Vienna, Austria. For God your soul, for me your flesh. Great title.
Whoa, that's hot.
Recent
That
and
is a
previous.
good title.
That is a good record too. Previous podcast subject: Queensryche Empire.
Beautiful banger.
The debut EP by one of my favorite bands of all time, putting out a new album in July. Quicksand, debut EP, self-titled, eponymous. Horrible record. Don't step on them. Horrible record by Quiet Riot. Winners take all. We bowed out of doing this garbage.
Did we even get close to that? Tell me. I don't think we did.
The one before it.
Lord.
We listened
to
4 of those.
You guys actually got lucky because that's a compilation. So
we did what? We did 6 Quiet Riot records?
I think we glazed over we did like an episode of the preamble, and then we did 4 of those fucking things.
that's like 5 more than you needed to do.
Here's a band that's very underrated. The Choir Boys, A Bit of What You Fancy.
Love that record so fucking much, and it's better than Shake Your Moneymaker.
All right, fair. I have no recollection of this album by Rat Detonator.
Great record. Very underrated.
The last album before Robin Crosby dies.
I like how Rat just keeps putting out albums. Good for you.
Actually, you know, on that Rat album, they had Crosby was on it, but for the tour, they ended up with Schenker.
Oh, that's interesting. Wow.
Michael Schenker was on guitar.
Jesus Christ.
What a man whore.
Razor, Shotgun Justice, probably underrated thrash metal band from Canada. A few more. Rhino Bucket, self-titled debut, probably also better than.
What is a Rhino Bucket exactly?
Is that... I have no idea.
Dude, that album is banger town, by the way.
Is that a bucket made out of the horn?
Basically,
is that a bucket they shit in?
American AC/DC.
Oh, that's not even good.
Oh,
this album is terrible. Riot, The Privilege of Power. I remember laughing at these guys.
There's no such thing as a good Riot album.
That's also true. Here is one of my favorite albums ever. Sacred Reich, The American Way. Future Sacred Reich series, I hope eventually.
I would say, yeah.
Sacrifice, Soldiers of Misfortune. I have the vinyl repress of this, and I had a good record last year. Saint Vitus, 5 or V. Great album, speaking of Stoner Doom.
Do a dance.
Sanctuary, featuring Warl Dane, later of Nevermore. Into the Mirror Black, I believe, produced by Dave Mustaine. Like their debut. Scorpions, Crazy World, probably the last record by them I gave 2 shits about.
Yeah.
I love this record in high school or junior college. Slaughter, Stick It To You. Fuck yes.
Fucking banger. I will go on that hill.
Album.
Ding, ding, ding. 15 minutes.
Yeah, previous podcast subject, Slayer, Seasons in the Abyss.
Oh, what a record.
Beautiful.
Wait, that's 90?
90.
Yeah, Clash of the Titans era.
I also
was 92.
No, you're and Divine Intervention's 93. I also like SOD when they made their comeback and they did the song Seasoning the Obese with the same skippy riff. Like the
I was wrong. Yeah, totally. 1990.
I'm reading the fucking.
I know. I just had to see it for myself, and I'm saying I doff my cap, sir. I doff.
Future podcast subject, maybe because Nick doesn't like this band, Soundgarden, and there are 2 compilations of their debut EPs, Streaming Life and FOB.
Hey, there's a 6-month period of Soundgarden that I just can't get over.
In a good way.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
6-month period.
Another of love this record to pieces. Suicidal Tendencies, Lights, Camera, Revolution. Fantastic.
Still don't have it.
A huge part of my high school years. Love it.
Tankard, The Meaning of Life. Not a good record, but I like that band. Almost done. Testament, Souls of Black. Future podcast subject, maybe.
Future podcast subject.
Beautiful.
Udo, Faceless World. I have no memory of this.
No.
I don't remember that one either.
The debut studio album by Trickster. Not their best.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. Trouble.
I don't need any of it.
4th album self-titled, Trouble, Stoner Doom. Personal favorite from this band, Violence Oppressing the Masses, the last album to feature Rob Flynn before he quit to do Machine Head. This record is not good. Bill Ward, Ward 1 along the way, not good.
I've only heard one of his solo albums, and I want to kill myself after hearing it.
That's probably the
Yikes.
one you heard.
No, it was When the Bow Breaks. It's not only bad, it's bad for 70 minutes.
Oh, okay. Warrant, Uncle Tom's Cat, Cherry Pie. I'm so sorry,
I have
Jake.
that. I got a booty of that one.
I would buy that, and I'm still sad about it. I wonder what that record would be like if it wasn't Cherry Pie. Anyway, great album by Warrior Soul, the debut studio album, Last Decade, Dead Century. Maybe a future Warrior Soul series.
Corey Clark was like unsung. He was great.
This album blows. Winger, In the Heart of the Young.
Love
Winger
that record.
only does shit. All their stuff is shit.
Here is the first and only.
I'm right here.
Into Darkness by Winter. This would be a great DMA album, Nick. Winter is a very early American doom, like sludgy, dirgy doom. Sabbath worship, but even harder. And
Who's
they only
famous
made the
in
one
it?
record. What?
Who's famous in it?
Nobody. They just went into
That's not
obscurity.
DMA. DMA is famous people doing obscure shit.
I don't fucking know. Here's a British thrash band that are still around. Zentrix from Lancashire. Whose Advantage is probably their best record. Somehow Y&T has another record, the 9th album by them, but it's somehow called 10. Stupid.
Why did that band even exist?
Black Sabbath put out their 14th album, and or like their 12th album. They called it 13.
13, I know. But that's not why they called it 13. And then probably the best album by Zebra, the live one, because it's their best album.
100.
Wait, are we talking about Kiss?
Zebra. Just really quick, highlights of the year include Adrian Smith quitting Iron Maiden to go solo. Yannick Panic comes in. Metallica wins their first ever Grammy Award for the performance of One. Performance video. Clash of the Titans tour, previously discussed on the podcast. Extreme releases Porno Graffiti and engages in a war of worlds with the Red Hot Chili Peppers about which is a better band. They're stupid. Judas Priest was in the multi-million-dollar lawsuit of the twin Suicide Pact kids for listening to Better by You, Better Than Me. It's not even that great a song.
I love that song.
Faith No More breaks the Billboard Top 10 pop chart for Epic, featuring the song Epic, the Real Thing album. Marty Friedman joins Megadeth, replacing Jeff Young, who fucked Dave's girlfriend and sold him bad drugs. Jeff Becerra of Possessed is paralyzed and shot from the waist down after being mugged on his way home from work in Oakland. And then Laz Rocket, Death Angel, Sacred Reich, and many others are featured on Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 soundtrack. I remember that not being that great.
That movie was so stupid.
It's beyond.
It was.
Every attempt to remake a Leatherface has been horrible.
Why don't they just leave well enough alone with things like that?
I did hear that Zack Snyder has been granted and given permission by John Carpenter and a movie deal to do a new version of Escape from New York, which I did not ask for and I do not want, but if it's successful, theoretically, he will make many of them.
Do you think they'll film that one in St. Louis too?
Probably, because it's bombed out and depleted.
Hey, it's not bombed out anymore.
A little.
They filmed it in Union Station. They remodeled it.
We drove
It's
quickly
wonderful
through
now.
East St. Louis, my friend. Quickly.
No, we did not.
Be prepared to duck and roll.
We didn't go to East St. Louis, sir.
Okay.
We went to the eastern part of St. Louis, but East St. Louis is its own place. Across the river. I've been there twice, and I was scared very much both times.
Fair enough. That's how I felt about East Baltimore. Fucked. Continue.
All right.
Nick, it's your turn. Let's do it.
So let's talk about the formation of Deicide. Originally, there was a band called Amen, formed by the Hoffman brothers. No albums, they did some demos. Those demos were later released by Metal Blade Records.
I think technically they were Carnage.
Was it Carnage?
With Steve and the Hoffman brothers in high school.
Oh, that is correct.
They had another bass player, and I think it was thought that one of the Hoffmans was going to sing, but he really couldn't even do a death metal voice at all. He sounded ridiculous. And then they got Glenn. And then
that is correct.
And then Roadrunner, when they got signed, told them
Roadrunner.
he changed the name to something else like Deicide.
Yeah, Deicide has been on 1, 2, 3, 6 different records, so all over the place. But yes, those demos were released later. I have never heard them. I do not care to hear them. I don't listen to demos. So the Hoffman brothers, they formed it in high school. Eventually, Glenn Benton joins, becomes Deicide. And at this time, death metal is starting to rear its head in the world. And I believe we discussed this quite a lot when we were talking about Obituary. Because Obituary, even though they are considered to be Tampa Bay death metal, they're a very different kind of death metal than everybody else in the genre. They're the only ones that are really locationally Tampa Bay death metal. They don't have the serious blast beats. They don't have the kind of riffing. They bear no resemblance to Morbid Angel, Cannibal Corpse, or Deicide, in my opinion. Okay, but this is when death metal starts to have its moment. And I got into Deicide personally around 1992 when I was introduced to Deicide, Morbid Angel, Obituary, Cannibal Corpse, and Carcass, of course. I remember my buddy had I remember my friend Will had all of these, like either maxi singles or EPs. And you have to remember back in 1991, 92, 93, EPs were no longer a thing. It wasn't, Slayer had to put out a couple. Faith No More puts out Easy around this time, which Faith No More's cover of Easy is one of the greatest 4 minutes of music you will ever hear in your life. It's unfortunate it didn't make it to a proper record. So the album itself is recorded in the very, very famous Morris Sound recording in Tampa Bay. Friend of the show, Danny Nichols, has been there, and I believe he may or may not have come home with a rock from the parking lot. Because Danny. It is produced by Scott Burns. Scott Burns, who goes on to do quite a bit of the death metal back in the day. The thing about Morris Sound is they were the first death metal studio. Everybody else, if you listen to I think one of the reasons why I don't like the death records around this time is they weren't recorded as well. It's one of spit it out, easy for you to say. The Possessed record sounds like ass. It doesn't sound good. You can't hear the blast beats. Scott Burns, Morris Sound, they are able to do death metal. So it's like if you listen to, oh God, what is that song on Keefy's favorite Kiss record? Is it The Oath?
Rock and Roll Over? Or The Elder? Oh, you.
I believe it's... There is a great double bass line on that. I think it's on whichever one they took and stuck at the beginning of the album that was supposed to be side A of track 2. I think it's The Oath. I don't remember off the top of my head. But Eric Carr does a great, almost blast beat there, but you can't hear it because it wasn't recorded right. So that's the importance of Morris Sound Studios. The album itself is a tight 33 and 35 seconds, which for death metal is a little on the long side. Especially for the burgeoning death metal scene. At this point in time, they're still learning, they're still creating the parameters of the genre. And I think it is time we take a look to see what death metal is. Who's ready to begin the track by track?
You know who's really ready? Your boy Glenn Benton is here to make sure you guys get it right, you motherfuckers.
Tremendous.
Perfect.
Tremendous.
I think all the death metal people should be in black and white, and all the glam rock and heavy metal guys.
Well, you know what, though? I don't know. I think I look a little better in some color, even though I'm quite faded out.
I don't think that's in color.
It's like washed out.
Gun is so high, he's not seeing colors anymore. He's just seeing fucking.
I've got the eyes of a dog.
Dog.
I don't see colors anymore.
The Pawsborn is not here today.
Don is so high, he no longer sees colors. He smells them.
I don't see colors, and I pee on everything.
He tastes them.
Okay.
That's a whole nother story.
Since you brought up the Glenn Benton face, and oh my God, I hope Glenn Benton is a future part of the show going forward. Anybody ever noticed that? Friend of the show, Glenn Benton. Hey, Glenn Benton theoretically knows my name when he put it on the list. I'm sure he was the one that wrote it down and not some, roadie or road manager.
Because he was their road manager, probably.
So I'm sure everybody's noticed the upside down cross on his head. My good friend Nate, back in the day, he was the guitar player in a local St. Louis band called Tribes with Knives. They had an album out. They were just starting to tour. They were going to break, and then they broke up because the singer wouldn't do anything. Sounds like me. That's why I don't join bands, because it'd be like, practice. Yeah, I'm not coming. I'm just going to sit here. But he had a, and I'm going to tell more of this story next week. I'm going to workshop it with you guys before I tell it, because it's around the Legion era anyway. But one of the things about this is my friend asked him about the scar on his head, because what Glenn Benton did was he was making coffee or tea or eggs or something, and he was looking at the burner on his stove, and he had a cross, and he went, huh. And he just put the cross on the stove and then just jammed it into his forehead upside down, and that's where it came from. It is not a tattoo. It is a personal body modification. At this particular time, Glenn Benton is an auto mechanic. And as far as I know, he still is to this day. He would, when they were not on tour or recording, he worked on cars. I presume he wore a hat.
You can't really get away with a beanie in Florida. I've been there.
Wait, is he still really an auto mechanic?
No, there's no way.
Oh.
He has
Based
enough
on-
money. Deicide
you think?
so many. Yeah, Deicide is the second best-selling death metal band of all time since the SoundScan era.
Well, I can tell you, in their heyday, when they were selling the most records, every year they did an album and tour. According to Glenn, per Nate, he made $50,000 in a year. And so that was and he would only do one every 2 years, so they wouldn't oversaturate. And then at that time, he worked he was an auto mechanic. I don't know if he owned the shop or if he worked in one. But you have to remember, death metal is not the most lucrative genre of music. I can remember seeing Carcass, seeing Cannibal Corpse, in Obituary, in these very small venues that are half empty, to see legends of this genre, because it's just such a niche genre. With that being said, let's talk about Lunatic of God's Creation. Start us off, Dawn. Ugh.
Lunatic of God's Creation. So, I gotta say, kind of like we said in our chat earlier, I did not really know what to expect going into this, because death metal was not my forte. But when I think about the death metal bands that I do love, like Carcass, Morbid Angel, whatever, like, I know you said they don't sound like Carcass, but they have that kind of same elemental thing that connected with me, that I'm like, oh, this is like quite good. And we'll go into it as the album progresses, but I feel like this first song is like just where we're getting the taste of anger. Like he's just been asked the question for the first time and hasn't gone to rant yet. But I love it. I think it's it reminds me of Testament a little bit as well too, riff wise.
Right on. I'm so glad you brought that up, because one of my thoughts was, so first of all, great song, great opening song, one of the best album openers the band has ever had. They seem to be pretty good at album openers. I don't know if I'm going to steal some presumptive thunder from Nick, but the right amount of time for a Deicide song is sub 3 minutes. They do not have many songs longer than 3 minutes that approach greatness, maybe 4, but most of them are better under 3. Better appreciated shorter. And what I was going to say, because you mentioned Testament, so heavily into thrash metal at this time, Metallica are like my superheroes. They're like fucking the Avengers, right? And what I think is we're at kind of an early stage, with the exception of a few bands like Atheist. Most bands are basically, the death metal bands are hopped up thrash bands there's not as much there's a lot of double bass, but not as much double bass as we will see in the next few years when the real technical masters come in. Suffocation has Mike Smith. He is the guy who perfected the blast beat after Charlie Benante of Anthrax invented it. But I think what you're seeing is a lot of these early long-running death metal bands started as thrash inspired, and they just took it heavier and meaner. And I think there's no way to really get a clean, separated guitar sound this tuned down this fast, which is why it's a muddy. And I know that people, like what Slayer was worried about happening to them, is that they were going to just keep getting more fast and technical and be muddier. which is why South of Heaven is different. Changed up tempos and cleaner, right? One guitar each guy, not like layers of guitars. Glenn has written a lot of this stuff with the brothers. He wrote a lot of these songs on a guitar. He could play guitar. He just couldn't play guitar and sing, he felt. And why would he when he, played bass? But yeah, great first song. Important to consider that a lot of these are like the Death first couple of records are basically thrash with scream vocals and a little bit of what we consider classic death metal. This is much more classic death metal than Scream Bloody Gore for a first try. I think Cannibal Corpse is somewhere in between the two. Nick.
Love that. This is definitely a thrash metal record, Deathified. It's, we have about as much double bass on this record as if you took out all the double bass in Metallica's Injustice for All and made it into a 30-minute record, you would probably have equal amounts of blast beats. It's not the constant, like the Morbid Angel when we get to Covenant in a couple of years, where it is just, they're only blast beats. There's still a lot of changes. This is actually one of my big issues with this record and the way it's recorded, and it's most evident on this particular song. When they're doing regular drums, the drum sound and the drum level is right. But then when he gets out the double bass, all of a sudden the double bass covers everything up. And that is an issue I've had with metal many, many times. I've had the same issue with Metallica, especially live. When Lars really gets going on that double bass, it drowns everything out. And that's the biggest mistake on this album. Other than that, it's just, I think this whole album is poorly recorded, and I'll expound on that more next week if I remember that I said this.
Well, I mean, you can expound on it this week because Glenn hates the sound of this record, and he felt like they weren't given enough money and time to.
Fair enough.
He wanted to spend more time on the record, and they were like, "You have like a week, 2 weeks."
Could you even hear Glenn's bass?
Do you need to?
Yes.
He's not that great a bassist. He's competent.
Have you even heard?
He's got a great right hand. He's competent at playing fast.
Jesus. Okay.
No, you don't.
You talking to me?
The two things that make great.
I don't see anybody else here, so you must be talking to me.
The two things that make bass players great is competence and confidence.
Your new name is Travis Nickel.
Who's that? Is that the taxi?
Travis Bickle. You're Travis Nickel.
I've never actually seen the movie.
You should, but not with your.
I know I should. But yes, and we'll talk about it more on Legion. You could hear Glenn's bass, and it made the band better. Not because Glenn is such a great bass player, although his right hand, if I could move my right hand like that, I wouldn't have a kid, because I would have already rubbed my dick off. Because you look at his hand, and it's just a blur. It's just a white blur, because Glenn Benton is just so white. But with great sense of rhythm.
For a guy that is from Florida, he's extremely white.
He really is.
He makes you look tan.
Let's move on to Sacrificial Suicide. Don or Party?
Sacrificial Suicide. Hold on. Let me re-pull up my notes here. Is that I absolutely thought that once it started to kick in, it kind of had kind of a Venom feel to it. The kind of fade in, that kind of early, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but that kind of sloppy double bass, which I like that a lot, where it's like, long before the days of triggers and perfecting things, like this was just great. And I have to say, if I would have heard this song in 90, probably would have changed my whole trajectory as far as what I listen to metal, because this is so much anger towards organized religion that this is everything I was feeling at that time. And when I listen to it now, I know, and as far as, call it cheesy, whoever's watching, so I don't care. But like, it was a trigger for me, to be honest. And in a good way and in a bad way. In a bad way, because it reminded me how much I fucking hate religion. But in a good way, that I was like, wow, like I feel seen somewhat. And I wasn't expecting that from a Deicide song called Sacrificial Suicide.
Don't worry, just keep going. He's going to talk about that kind of stuff way more.
But it's a great song. But I kind of just got the feeling that like this one is a little more angry than the first. And I think we're going to see a pattern as we go forward.
No doubt, he is pushing the limits of his intelligence and hatred. Killer song always was a good song. Great comment there, Don, about Venom. I think that the Hoffmans love Venom like Kerry and Jeff Hanneman love Venom, like love Venom more than their moms love them. And always thought this was a killer song. A lot of that thrash is in here. Also, little bit of NWOBHM without the flamboyance. And this is the song supposedly where Glenn, his commitment to Satan and anti-Christian values. This is the song about basically about the burning the cross in his head, and he had said that he was going to commit suicide by the time he was 33 to be unlike Jesus. Then later on was like, no, of course I wasn't going to kill myself. That's stupid. Way to commit, bro. Set yourself on fire. Show me a little fire in the belly. To go
Wait, I remember hearing the story. Was this the guy that said that at a certain age that he was
33.
going to kill himself on stage?
Not on stage.
Or is that
but
kind of
kill
part of the
himself.
legend?
See,
Okay.
in
Yeah.
1990, we didn't, those of us who were only 14 at the time, didn't know yet that metal was a performance. I mean, it wasn't much earlier than this that I legitimately thought the Beastie Boys were criminals because that's all they sang about was crimes, doing
Rhyming and
crimes.
stealing.
Yeah, rhyming and stealing.
Looking,
I just
looking
got
down the barrel of a gun.
Yeah.
You? Really?
Punching
Three
piano
nice Jewish
players in the
boys?
face.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I had a chance to
Piano
run. He
players
pulled out
out.
his shotgun. MCA with a shotgun, and
Wait, real quick, I do want to get this in because would Glenn Benton's suicide that never happened be considered like the Kiss farewell tour of death metal suicide promises?
oh my lord. It's really the Who's
Maybe.
farewell tour that never
Oh.
happened. The Who did it first. The Who did it in the 70s.
They shouldn't name their next album Who's Left. Okay.
I think it's just Roger Daltrey at this point. I think Pete Townsend's
even.
like, I think
Not
Pete
even.
Townsend, my hips hurt. My hips hurt. I can't do it. And
They can't
I
find
can't
him.
go on tour. I mean, I'm 50 and I will literally hurt my toes walking, not running, just like a walk. So, I mean, these dudes are like 90. How are they getting on a bus? I mean, I know they don't go on a bus, but you know what I mean.
They do go on a bus. The Who? Or they probably
Who.
are flying between shows.
Yeah, the Who, but I mean, anyway, not the point. I'm getting off track. Moving on. Sacrificial Suicide. This might be the best song on the album. This song has the best energy on the record. It does not have the best name. We'll get to that soon. Moving on to Oblivious to Evil. Done.
Wow, what was that? God, I was about to say, God, did that Busch really get to him?
Sure was something.
So this is to me where it starts. Like it's like gradually brewing. Like his anger just kind of just gets more and more intense. I'm also hearing that kind of Slayer-esque Kerry King guitar soloing, like put your guitar on and then throw yourself down the stairs while your volume's up full blast. But it works because it's like total angry chaos, I think it is. And what blows me away is when I listen to this sometimes, my first thought was like, if these guys played like just standard metal, like they'd probably be fucking better than most bands ever could, Like I don't know. It's a great song. And like I said, it was a triggering album for me, especially lyrical content wise, which I have to say, as a songwriter and as a musician myself, when you can get that feeling from listening to music, like it's been done well. Whether you want to say it's good or not, it's been done well. This is a good song. I like it. I don't like it as much as I liked the previous one, but I like this one.
Alrighty. You know what I want to say is that despite, and again, I think I just want to clarify or add to Nick's original comment about the drumming and the drum sound. I think it's the time. Like we got the drums tuned, we got the sound. That's it. Like that's how much time was spent on it. Nothing against Scott Burns, who's a genius, and his other records sound better. Steve is one of the greatest drummers in all of metal, not just death metal. He is one of the greatest drummers, period, in history.
And still in the band.
And still in the band and still fucking killing it. We just saw him and he was
Oh my God, he was
great.
amazing.
And he didn't seem to struggle. It seemed pretty easy for him to do these songs. Some of them are
He was one of those death metal gum chewers.
He is a death metal gum chewer, and they get more and more technical as the years go on, including their latest record, of which they played none of. But unfortunately, like I said, the sound does not do justice to Steve's performance. Oblivious to Evil to me is solid. It's starting to get kind of like your gum that you chewed too long. The flavor is out, but you're still satisfied by the chewing. You know, Deicide is a one-note band. They just do that one note fucking angrier and better than most. Nick.
Yeah, that's a great description about this. And I mean, I've been listening to this record a lot. I started listening to this album off my phone. A good friend of the show, Mike Montgomery, DJ Mike, actually bought me the Roadrunner box set. Do you guys remember those Roadrunner box sets they put out in the mid-aughts? Late
yes,
aughts. I had Obituary, I had Deicide. I have since sold them on eBay. There was King Diamond and all that. But I have the first 6 of those on CD, or now digital, I guess. And then I've got like the last 6. And then I got some of those on vinyl, and I got like the last 4 on vinyl. But yeah, what I meant by heavy metal gum chewer is just one of those guys that he can just sit there and chew gum, blow bubbles, and like blow double bubbles, while he's got like 4 arms going at once and then 2 legs on each side. And it's just, he's just like, was just chomping on his gum. And that's amazing. This is the part of the record, like I said, I was listening to it a lot, but this is the part of the record where you just realize it's very samey. And there's not, because of the sound, it makes it very difficult to talk about like the music, the riffs, the solos. It's Don is right, and I'm gonna double up on Don's Venom comment. It's also very reminiscent of Mayhem in the fact that it's very, very raw. But it's very, very raw whilst being very, very technical. So it's a very technical record that they had about 18 hours to record.
I want to say that rawness is a reaction to the prettiness of Rust in Peace, Injustice for All, South of Heaven.
Oh yeah, it's like the antithesis of it all.
The anger, the absolute explosion of anger. Because at this point in time, Megadeth is no longer angry. Metallica is no longer angry. I don't know if Testament was ever really angry, but the death metal, the extreme metal, your death metal, your black metal. At this point in time, these guys are bubbling over like Lewis Black in
anything.
No, that movie. What's that movie?
I don't know.
Where he's anger, his head blows up.
Lewis Black.
Keep that. But I want to ask you both a question.
Isn't that Pixar movie? Inside Out. Inside Out.
Oh, okay. So being that obviously I'm not the death metal guy here, I'm very new to this, thanks to you guys. But how much of this stuff was a reaction to like Megadeth and Metallica and all them, and not being?
I think a lot of it, because when I spoke to Paul of Master, he said, I don't listen to death metal. I never wanted to be death metal. Where did it come from? It came from listening to Motorhead, but just coming out heavier. That's what they wanted to be. They wanted to take the music they loved and go heavier. Glenn Benton at this point in time is like 23 years old, so likely he's listening to Metallica and Megadeth for their entire careers. So Metallica and Megadeth were more refined Motorhead. Master was a heavier Motorhead. And then you get Deicide that takes all of those things and explodes them into a more technical but rawer version of just angry metal.
I think the reason why I was asking was because, like, being that they were kind of like all into, like, were they for Metallica and Megadeth, or were they angry at the fact that they were becoming like
probably
praise
there's not a whole lot of interviews from that time, but probably a whole lot of everything. They're trying to push death metal into a scene. They're trying to turn it from a movement into a revolution. And this is the beginning of that. So let's move on to track 4. Try to speed this up a mite. One of the songs from this album they played on tour when I saw them, Dead by Dawn. Dead by Dawn. Dead by Dawn. Dawn.
Dead by Dawn. I love it. Again, angrier than the song before. Like the guy is going to explode by the end of this album. But it's a great tune. I absolutely love it. And this length, again, level of anger that 1990 Don can relate to and that I can still relate to.
All right.
Keefy.
Arguably one of the best, if not the best, Deicide song still from this album. 4 minutes, just under 4 minutes. When people look for an example of this band, this is the song they usually show. It's killer. Again, tremendous riffs. Got to shout out the Hoffman brothers. They don't really get a lot of love because Glenn has been on a campaign of shitting on them ever since they were out of the band. But phenomenal song. Best song on the record to me, still.
I am not sure if it's the best song on the record. It is a damn good song. It is... Why be subtle? Why even be subtle? And that's what makes death metal so beautifully hideous. There is just no subtlety. It's just, this is what we're doing. Here's how hard we're doing it. Here's how heavy we're doing it. And it is one of the longer songs, 3 minutes 56, which a little bit longer than it needs to be since it only really has 3 words in the whole fucking song. Moving on to Blaspherion, Done. Blaspherion.
I actually quoted like my favorite lyrics. Bleeding death, undead, broke the seals, Serim, desecrate evil, ghost, toth, freedom. Like this is, it's poetry. I know it sounds crazy, but this is it's almost very literal, you know, and I don't know. I liked it, but this is where I'm starting to feel like they're getting a little samesies for me. Cause now at this point, I'm not able to really like they're not, nothing is really distinct at this point. This song starts to kind of bleed into the others to me, which is odd, but I still like it.
A lot of that is the recording of the record.
Mm-hmm. But I still like it because I like
Same.
the rest of the songs. It's just that I'm like, oh, it's another song I like. That sounds like the other ones. The Ramones.
I can't help but think that the monotony of Deicide is just by design. And Blaspherion is absolutely that monotony by design. It's a good song. It's, again, a little... Now they're starting to get long. No need to get long. Do this for 3 minutes, not 4. And but I never thought I would be part of a conversation where Glenn Benton was called a poet. Nick.
Ooh, and he doesn't know it.
He thinks... No, I think he thinks he is.
I know he does. Glenn Benton has a very high opinion of himself. This song, it's good, but it doesn't need to be 4.5 minutes. And the monotony, and like I said about death metal, man, it's only cool, unless it's live, it's only cool for a half hour on record. Half hour is the right number. I do think a couple of these songs were stretched out a little bit just so they wouldn't have a Rain in Blood length record. But Rain in Blood works perfectly because it's the right length. But they didn't think about that. Moving on to the heavy metal Natty Hattie, Deicide by Deicide from the album Deicide. Done.
Natty Hattie is not a fucking thing.
You stole that from me.
I said it in the chat, and you said that was great.
I plead the fifth.
You probably didn't mean to.
It is. I'm not.
I'm on drugs and I'm mentally unwell. Go ahead.
The heavy metal Natty Hattie is not going away. That's what it's called now.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Deicide by Deicide from Deicide.
I get one a show. I didn't even take any last week. You liked it in the chat.
All right. We'll take it. We'll take it. I think this song is hilarious. And like not even I don't know why. I feel the same way about all eponymous songs. Like Iron Maiden by Iron Maiden from Iron Maiden, hilarious. Deicide by Deicide from Deicide, hilarious though. But again,
is it Heaven and Hell by Heaven and Hell from Heaven and Hell? Or is that just a retcon that we just don't do? My good friend Stephen Bouchard had a band called Travail. The first song was Travail by Travail from the album Travail.
Well, my band, our first EP demo was we had a song called Rachel's Dead. We were called Rachel's Dead. The EP was called Rachel's Dead. And that song sucked. But anyway, I digress.
These songs are never good to me. They're not good except Iron Maiden by Iron Maiden. They're mostly not good. They're mostly bad. They're mostly bad. This isn't awful, but it's not great. It's just okay. I don't live to hear this song in my life. Do you? Do you seriously like, oh man, I hope they play Deicide? No, never. Never ever. Not ever. Not once.
What about Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath from the album Black Sabbath? That's a great
that
tune.
song
That's different.
started a whole fucking movement.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
So
And Natty Hattie
did it
is
right.
a legitimate term. I Googled it.
Where'd you? Well, what was it? AI? Some AI bullshit, or was
Natty
it?
Hattie
Urban
Hockey
Dictionary?
on Facebook.
Okay, whatever.
NattyHattie.com. I mean, and if it was Urban Dictionary, that would count too.
Jesus
Yeah, the heavy metal Natty Hattie is. Well, I gotta laugh at it every time because it is the most pretentious thing you can do. Naming a song, an album, and yourself the same thing, and you want me to take you seriously?
Sometimes it's an accident, though. What if you don't have a good name? Armored Saint, for instance.
What if you don't have a good name? They have a good name. It's the next track. Carnage in the Temple of the Damned.
Too long.
Wait, can we have an episode once called the Glacially Musical Podcast by the Glacially Musical Podcast on the Glacially Musical Podcast?
It's too long. It's too long a title. SEO
GMP on the GMP
problem-
by the GMP on the GMP.
The problem with the title of this song, and this will be all I need to say on this one because we're very samey in the soft underbelly of the record. The song should be shorter than it takes for you to say the title, but it's not. Gone.
Carnage in the Temple of the Damned. I love this. This is also one of the songs where I kind of hear a carcass in there going, you know, like like what's that Carcass album? I mean the song.
Desconcerting this
Buried
Volubrious
Dreams.
Mahumamis.
Is it Buried Dreams? I think the name of the song. I can't remember. It's off of Heartwork. But anyway, it's got that kind of thing, that kind of, it's almost weird. It's like a groove, oddly, a death metal groove. It's a doove.
Death metal can groove.
Yeah. I mean, but I like it. But at this point, I can't tell the difference between soft underbelly and like
All of it.
the hard,
It's
the
the
hard
soft
outer belly.
underbelly. It's the soft underbelly because it's the same song. This is the 8th time in a row with slightly different inflections.
This is Nick's review of all the AC/DC records all over again. With a few
Yeah.
exceptions. Yeah.
It's pretty similar to that, yeah.
Yeah, it's very similar to that. You know, I think like again, this is a good song. It's not out. It's not like what I would consider like for this year. This is a great album, but again, like maybe this record would have been better with 8 songs or 7. Like really, not enough variety. Maybe it was too short if it was 25 minutes, but they have 25 good minutes of music on 34 minutes, right?
Preach,
Like,
brother man. I mean, I think we've pretty much said it all when it comes to Carnage in the Temple of the Damned. Now we're going to get crazy and see if you can growl. Memphis.
Mephistopheles.
This is the Memphis Mafia by Elvis Presley.
I probably, because I don't know what the lyrics are
Mephistopheles.
and I can't understand the lyrics, I have to read these things as I'm
Well, he does growl Mephistopheles significantly this whole time, audibly, delightfully, viscerally.
There's this one part of the song in the lyrics I'm reading, and I read it in William Shatner's voice. Schizophrenic, reflex, desiccate, mutilate. You know, like all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay. At this point, it kind of felt like they were running out of ideas a little bit. Like,
unfortunately, now I'm going to veer off into this discussion. Have you seen the William Shatner Kellogg's Raisin Bran box and advertising campaign where his name is now abbreviated to Will Shat, which is also a verb and a future tense at the same time, past tense and future tense at the same time? Will Shat, eat me. He's tweeting "eat me" to people with bowls of fucking cereal.
Can I just point out, what was this Raisin Bran you said? Raisin Bran?
Yeah, Raisin Bran, Kellogg's Raisin Bran.
If you eat Raisin Bran, you will have had shat.
you're going to
You will
shat some
shat a
Will.
lot.
You
Will
will have
shat.
had shat.
You will have eaten it and then chat. I feel like he's just hanging on. I think
To
Shatner
dear
is
life,
just trying
yes.
to. He's at 95. He's just like making money and hanging on to spite George Takei and Walter Koenig, so he outlives them.
I can't wait for his metal album.
Can you tell me for sure that he's not pissed on everybody else's graves that have died so far?
It's possible. I don't think he liked Nimoy, but I don't know.
Yeah.
DeForest Kelly definitely got a dookie on it.
Okay, Mephistopheles. Yeah.
I didn't say anything, but like honestly, I have nothing to add. It's not.
Moving
This
on.
is my least favorite song on the record. How about that?
This is my least favorite part of the catalog. Moving on to Day of Darkness. Done.
Day of Darkness. Day of Dorkness. I just thought the song was kind of dorky. I don't know what. Like I said, I feel like Keefy said it best. Shave 2 of these songs off, maybe 3, and like
maybe
I think
these 3.
Yeah, and I think this would have been a great album. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm new to the death metal thing, is that at some point
right.
they are all sounding alike.
No, completely. And I'm going to discuss that in the sum up once we get there. Keefy, do you have anything important to say about Day of Darkness?
2 minutes and 5 seconds. I do not require ever again.
Jesus Christ! Why are you saying what I'm going to say? Let's finish this out with Crucifixion.
I mean, we will influence each other here and there. No, like I'm not trying to. Like,
This is. Look, the first half of this record, man, I am energized and involved, and and then it gets. It's like Metallica, right? Except with about a quarter of the talent. Metallica had the talent to use the open E string as the main riff of, all of their songs. But they had the talent to do that and make it different. Deicide doesn't have that yet. So they did a short record that needs to be shorter. And that's really all I have to say about Crucifixion, too. Don.
Crucifixion. I'm not going to lie. After Day of Darkness, when I was listening to it, I was like, boy, that was a crazy album. And then this kicked in again. It scared me because I wasn't paying attention. I was like, really? One more? So I was just like, yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
It's like when the second baby came out of the girl in V. Oh, another one.
You mean that?
The lizard baby. Yeah.
Robin, why?
Oh. Now that is a reference no one listening to this show is going to get.
Plutonoma, bitches. Plutonoma.
And then we all cried when the alien baby died.
I did.
Yeah, it was sad.
I was 9. I was distraught.
It was
Great
so cute. It
soundtrack.
looked like my brother. Anyway.
Best television theme songs episode eventually.
Look like my ball sack.
Oh, we should
Good
do that.
chaser.
I like that.
I don't remember the theme song. Anyway,
Oh my god, it's great.
let's finish this. Yes, please do.
Have
Please
my
do.
words? Crucifixion is actually a really great ending to the album. I still would have chopped it off this album, but it actually is a very good sum up. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna have a closing track, close out strong. It is. I've heard it live a couple times. I don't know if they're still doing it.
I can't tell you a whole lot about the tour, but I can
They
tell
didn't
you.
tour, so I don't know if you know that they were off. They were supposed to tour behind the album. Offers came in, and Glenn turned every single offer down because he thought they were deserving of more, which is some insane shit for a band on their debut album in a burgeoning genre.
In a burgeoning niche subgenre. They did, however, play Maryland Death Metal 4.
Ooh, okay.
What was their Maryland Metalfest 4? I'm sorry, Milwaukee Metalfest 4.
Oh, which I'm going to tomorrow.
Correct. Exactly. That's why I chose this set list. I didn't see any other ones. They got to play 5 tracks: Sacrificial Suicide, Lunatics of God Creation, Dead by Dawn, Carnage in the Temple of the Damned, and Oblivious to Evil. Now, I'm going to sum up this record in 2 ways, and in basically 3 sentences. 1, they didn't have the ability to make classic death metal yet. They had the ability to make death metal. 2, I think the monotony, as Keefy pointed out, was intentional, because how many times over the years did we just hear, oh, metal's just noise? I mean, my father turned off Led Zeppelin once because he's like, sounded like that man was dying. Robert fucking Plant, you dumb bitch. He was not dying, he was coming to music.
He is still coming.
Pointing And he was
Oh my
spooging.
God.
He was spooging at Jimmy Page while
Right
he was
on
doing
cue, 100% cum metal. Continue, Nick.
I
So-
want that on a shirt. So
And
fucking
because the lyrics were so unintelligible, they made the lyrics very obvious. The titles were sung very clearly so you could hear them, and they were just begging to be canceled. They were begging for the religious right to care. But you're nobodies from Tampa Bay in a nobody genre, so you didn't get that. But they tried, and that's what I appreciate about them. There's probably about 3 classic songs on this record, and there's also more of the album too. What do you got done?
I think for my first foray into death metal that I actually really enjoyed it. Like I thought, actually, it's not even my first foray because I was already into Carcass and like I really liked uh, Morbid Angel Covenant. But this was a totally different animal from those two bands, in my opinion. Those two bands, at least those first 2 albums, kind of sounded like more along the lines of metal with some grunting vocals to it. But this was like full on death metal in the sense that it was a cerebral shock to me. But enough so that that I'm intrigued and I cannot wait to actually dive into some more of this to kind of see where it takes me. I think it was a great way to start me off. So thank you guys for starting me off in a good place. I liked it.
Start me up or finish me off. You know, here's the thing about Deicide. And, they definitely have earned their respect. Nick and I did the Mount Rushmore of Death Metal Chaser episode like fucking 300 episodes ago in a almost 290 episode run. And, there had been other landmark death metal albums at this time. I think their next record is superior to this record, but like, give them their credit for what, the Hoffmans and Steve and Glenn, they had a vision, they saw it out. Maybe if this record had months to be recorded, it would have been pristine or something.
For
Maybe
weeks.
less uglyish. But debut Cannibal Corpse record exists at this time. Other bands have records out at this time. Death has their second record out right before this. So, it's tough to say, is this a top 10? I think this was in Wikifakia says that this was voted as like one of the top 5 best debuts ever in death metal. So that's cool. But, they get better.
What a specific title.
They do get better.
Oh, much better, yeah.
But this is a worthy record. Don't take our some of our dismissal as shat. We will not chat.
Yes, thank
this is
you.
A B record. This is at least a B.
It's definitely a B record, but
in an era of B's and A's, this is a certain B.
My issue is
I agree. Yeah, I found it to be like a B. Yeah,
I've heard Banished by Sin. I've heard Overtures and Blasphemy. I've heard In the Minds of Evil. Deicide just keeps getting better and better and better. And I kind of feel bad that we're not doing those records, but I don't think we should be doing a 13-album run on Deicide because we would all go crazy.
You're knocking over banks and shit.
I might get driven into Christian metal for that, forever.
Striper!
Like, tell me more of this God that you hate.
It is Christian metal. The devil is Christian.
I know. They're all dumb.
We all know that, though, but yeah.
Yeah. So, like, there was a thing on the radio today. What would you rather listen to? If you could listen to one thing you had to listen to one thing forever for 2 years and get $1 million. Post 9/11 country, Christian death metal, AI, EDM music, and something else. And I'm like, well, Deicide's Christian death metal. Slayer's Christian death metal. It's about Jesus and stuff. That's
Is
Christian.
Slayer death metal?
Yeah, sometimes yes, sometimes no. They were considered death metal. I'm sorry, I was spitballing. Anyway, Keefy, take us home.
All right. Hey, you have been listening to the Glacially musical podcast, a Ghost Cult joint. I'm Keefy of GhostCultMag.com. You can follow me at Ghost Cult Keefy, at Ghost Cult Mag everywhere. Glenn Benton and Jeff Carcassor, a circle jerk no one can see except me and Nick. And there's Miss Kazari Dancer. If you don't talk, Dawn, no one can see those things, but then I'm also talking. I'm joined always by the host and the founder of this thing, Nick Boom Boom Cameron of Glacially Musical, and Don Juan Delamont.
Thank you guys so much for having me and for having the family affair that's going on here with Miss Kazari Dancer.
Quit polishing our knobs and start sending checks.
Fair enough. Anyway, it's the Glacially Musical podcast that does not play in Peoria, and certainly Deicide did not play on Peoria the first few years of their career because Glenn thought they were worth more money.
Glenn's dumb.
He's pretty dumb.
Glenn can suck Peoria.
Glenn didn't kill himself, and neither did Epstein. Peace.
But